I knew his family didn't like me, but I didn't expect them to mock me right in front of my husband. Every joke was about where I came from. Every comment was a reminder that, to them, I wasn't good enough. And my husband? He just sat there, quiet, letting them tear me apart. But then the front door opened, and the second my brother walked in, the entire table went dead silent. Every single one of them stood up. People always assume marriages collapse because of explosive fights or dramatic betrayals. But sometimes, the cracks start the first time someone looks at you like you don't belong beside their son. My name is Mia, 29, nurse. Someone who says thank you even when I'm handed the wrong order. I grew up in a house where kindness wasn't optional, it was the air we breathed. And my brother Noah made sure I always knew my worth. He once told me, if someone ever talks down to you, Mia, I'll be there before they finish the sentence. He meant it. Then I married Ethan. Quiet, gentle, the peacekeeper type. But sometimes, peacekeepers don't protect you, they just avoid conflict. I didn't see that at first. The first time I met his family, his mother didn't even wait for me to sit down. She gave my clothes a slow, disapproving glance and said, "Oh, you wore that?" right in front of Ethan. He just laughed nervously and whispered, "She doesn't mean anything by it." A tiny suspicion sparked inside me that day, barely a flicker, but I pushed it down. Then his sister accidentally asked, "So, your family is the modest type, right?" Modest. Like we were a charity case. I smiled politely, but something about the room felt off, a tension humming underneath every fake compliment. Noah's voice echoed in my head. You don't let people shrink you. But I didn't want drama. I wanted harmony. 2 years passed and nothing changed. Every get together felt like a silent exam I was destined to fail. What was the. And Ethan always said the same thing, just ignore them. It's easier. Easier for him, maybe, not for me. Then came the annual dinner, their big family tradition. The one where everyone dressed up, acted fancy, and pretended to be happier than they really were. Ethan begged me to go. It'll be better this time. I promise. I'll stand up for you. But the second we turned onto their street, that quiet suspicion from years ago returned, stronger, sharper, almost warning me. Something in my gut whispered, this night won't end the way you think it will. And it was right, because that dinner would flip our entire marriage upside down. Ethan's parents' house greeted us with the same cold stillness it always had. Not warm, not lived in, just polished, echoing, and expensive in a way that made you lower your voice without meaning to. The air inside felt colder than the porch, like the house itself didn't want me there. Ethan exhaled quietly, barely audible, but I caught it. That nervous, please don't start anything breath. He straightened his shirt before his mom opened the door. She gave Ethan a warm smile, then turned to me with a tighter one. Mia, you made it. Her eyes scanned me head to toe, pausing just long enough to sting. My throat tightened, that instinctive don't react, don't give her ammo voice rising in my head. Behind her, Ethan's sister leaned over the staircase railing. Oh wow, she did wear the blue dress. I told you. Ethan winced, a tiny lip bite he tried to hide. He stepped forward like he wanted to say something, then froze. Come in, his mother said, stepping aside without actually making space. I had to turn sideways to pass. The house was too quiet. No music, no TV, just the ticking of a designer clock echoing down the hallway like a countdown. Ethan's father appeared from the dining room doorway, scotch in hand. Mia, he said with a curt nod. Still working at the hospital? Yes, I said. Still nursing. A slow sip. A practical career, nothing wrong with that. Practical, predictable, modest. I'd heard them all before, each one dressed like a compliment with a knife underneath. Ethan shifted beside me, a forced smile, a half step forward, then back again like he wasn't sure which direction loyalty required. I felt heat rise in my ears. That's when Ethan's sister passed behind me and clipped my shoulder hard enough to jolt me sideways. Oop, sorry, she said sweetly, eyes gleaming. Didn't see you there. You kind of blend in. Ethan flinched. His mouth opened, closed, opened again. Amber, stop, he whispered, but it came out too soft, almost apologetic. My pulse quickened. I swallowed hard, grounding myself. Don't react, not yet. His mother clapped her hands suddenly, making me jump. Well, she said cheerfully, before dinner, we have a little surprise planned. A soft laugh drifted from the dining room. Chairs scraped. Someone whispered, "Is she ready?" Ethan's mother exchanged a look with his father, silent, loaded. My stomach dropped. Whatever the surprise was, it had absolutely everything to do with me. The dining room looked like a magazine spread, polished mahogany table, folded napkins, wine glasses that sparkled under the chandelier. But underneath all that perfection was a tension so heavy it almost had a temperature. Warm food, cold atmosphere. Ethan pulled out my chair, but his hand trembled just enough for me to notice. He wasn't helping me sit, he was bracing himself. His mother sat at the head of the table, spine straight, chin lifted, passive-aggressive royalty. His father leaned back with a confidence that felt like a dare, elitist, calculating. And his sister took her seat across from me, smiling like she was competing in a sport only she understood. The moment I settled in, she lifted her glass in a fake toast to Mia, who always surprises us. A tiny clink of silverware followed, sharp, too loud in the quiet room. I forced a smile. Happy to be here. She smirked. I bet. Ethan bumped my knee, a small apology. But then his father raised an eyebrow, and Ethan's mouth snapped shut again. That tiny moment hit harder than any insult. Ethan's sister leaned forward. So, still doing those long shifts at the hospital? Must be exhausting. Her tone was fake sweet, but her eyes were edged with judgment. It's tiring sometimes, I said, but rewarding. She twirled her wine glass. Some people are just built for simple routines. Heat crawled up my neck. My pulse throbbed in my throat. And for the first time all evening, a thought flashed inside me. Enough. I'm tired of pretending this doesn't hurt. Ethan's father chimed in, voice deep and dismissive. I remember when Ethan dated women with ambition, driven, high status, lawyers even. My stomach tightened. My fingers curled into my napkin to stop them from shaking. Ethan's jaw clenched. He opened his mouth, then shut it again when his mother shot him a warning look. She lifted her wine glass and tapped her fork against it. Well, everyone, let's welcome Mia, the girl who stole Ethan from a very promising dating pool. The table laughed, loud, unified, rehearsed. Even the chandelier seemed to tremble with it. A sharp pain hit behind my ribs, humiliation laced with a small ember of anger. I steadied my breath. So, what's the surprise you mentioned earlier? His mother's smile sharpened. Patience, dear. We're waiting for one more person. A chair scraped in the hallway. A folder snapped shut. A whisper. Is she ready? Ethan stiffened, his grip tightening on his fork. Every instinct in me screamed to leave, but another part whispered, Stay. They think they know you. They don't. A soft knock echoed down the hallway, too polite to belong to anyone in this house, yet too intentional to be friendly. Everyone straightened. Even the air seemed to shift, tightening around my ribs. Ethan wiped his palms on his pants. His knee bounced once under the table before he forced it still. His mother's eyes lit with something sharp and triumphant. Perfect timing, she whispered, smoothing her dress. Footsteps drew closer, slow, steady, confident. The kind of footsteps belonging to someone who already knew their presence would change the entire room. Amber tilted her chin up, smirk deepening. You're going to love this, Mia. My stomach nodded. A man stepped into the dining room, tall, well-dressed, carrying a leather folder under one arm. His smile was polite, but practiced, like someone who delivered news for a living, and not the good kind. He glanced at Ethan first. Evening. Ethan's throat bobbed in a hard swallow. Hey, didn't expect. You did, his mother corrected softly, placing a manicured hand on his shoulder. We all discussed this, except me, the one person they were clearly planning this moment around. The man pulled out a chair. I'm Daniel. Ethan and I have talked a lot these past few months. Amber snorted. Understatement. I frowned. About what? Daniel opened his folder, flipping to something held inside with a thick metal clip. But before I could get a glimpse, he closed it again, too fast, like he changed his mind. We'll get to that. His gaze shifted to me. But first, I want to say, it's nice meeting you in person. Something about the phrase in person scratched at the back of my mind. Ethan's father clasped his hands in front of him. Well, Mia, this dinner is more than dinner. It's an intervention of sorts. My pulse kicked hard. Intervention? For what? His mother's smile was syrupy and poisonous. For you, dear. For your future in this family. Heat shot through my chest. Confusion, anger, humiliation, all fighting for space. Daniel finally slid a document out of his folder. Not toward Ethan, not toward the family, toward me. This, he said calmly, is why I'm here. My fingers hovered over the page, shaking. I hadn't read it yet, but I could feel something was horribly, horribly wrong. My voice cracked. But it's something, he said quietly. You deserve to know before they go any further. Before who goes any further, and with what? My fingertips brushed the edge of the paper. Cold, stiff, too official. The chandelier's light framed it like a spotlight, forcing the moment larger than life. Daniel didn't push it closer. He let me choose. That somehow made it worse. Go on, Ethan's mother urged, tone dripping with condescension. You'll understand things much better after this. A chill crawled down my spine. I lifted the document. The page crackled. Thick, high-quality paper meant for legal matters, not casual dinner threats. My eyes scanned the header, Affidavit of Character and Stability, prepared for preliminary family review. I blinked. What is this supposed to mean? And my stomach twisted. You wrote an assessment? Of me? No, dear, his mother corrected gently. We hired someone too. That's Daniel. My heart dropped into my shoes. Daniel shifted uncomfortably. I want to be clear. I was asked to compile a report. I didn't choose the content. They provided every detail. I skimmed the first paragraph. Traits, background, income, family status. My throat tightened. This is insane. No, Ethan's father said, leaning forward. This is necessary. Our family maintains standards. Standards? I felt heat behind my eyes, not from hurt, but from the first spark of anger that had a true shape. And what exactly did you say about me? I asked Daniel. He hesitated. Too long. That you're emotionally sensitive, he said. Prone to anxiety, possibly unstable under stress. I stared at him, stunned. That's not true. Amber raised her glass again. It is when we say it is. A sudden ringing filled my ears, a sharp, metallic hum drowning out their voices. The room blurred. My vision tightened to a tunnel. Not unstable, not anxious, not weak, just pushed too far. I forced my voice steady. And what is this assessment supposed to decide? Ethan's mother folded her hands neatly. If you're fit to stay married into this family. My blood iced. Stay married? Daniel swallowed hard. There was a second document they planned to show after this one. Planned? I whispered. Meaning what? He exhaled, guilt pulling in his eyes. Meaning your brother's arrival wasn't the only surprise tonight. Before I could react, the front door opened, loudly. Heavy footsteps approached, and the entire family stiffened. The moment Ethan and I stepped through the front door, the silence inside our house felt wrong. Not peaceful, wrong. Heavy, like someone had turned the air thick on purpose. I slipped off my heels, but my hands were shaking so much one of them dropped and clattered onto the floor. Ethan shut the door slowly, leaning his forehead against it for a second, as if he needed the wood to hold him up. Mia, he muttered, voice hoarse. I'm so sorry for tonight. That wasn't a dinner, I said, unblinking. That was humiliation served in 5 courses. His jaw clenched. I know. They crossed a line. I stepped closer, searching his face. You flinched every time they attacked me. Every single time. so don't pretend you didn't know something was coming. He swallowed hard. I didn't think they'd involve him. A chill crawled up my arms. Involve who? Ethan? He didn't answer, didn't even breathe. I took a slow step forward. Ethan, look at me. He finally lifted his eyes, and what I saw in them wasn't weakness this time. It was fear, real fear. My uncle, he whispered. He wasn't supposed to be there yet. I frowned. The man who arrived late, with the coat and the folder? Ethan nodded once. He's the one my mom calls when she wants outcomes. Outcomes, not help, not advice, outcomes. What does that mean? I asked, pulse rising. Ethan ran a hand over his hair, pacing now. It means they don't want to fight. They want compliance. Order, compliance. I repeated, disbelief sharp. From who? He stopped pacing. You. The room swayed for a second, not physically, but emotionally, like my nerves were rattling inside my chest. Ethan, what exactly were they planning tonight? He hesitated. Then, they think you're changing me, making me distant. They think you don't fit. And my uncle? Oh. He handles situations where the family wants to correct someone's behavior. My mouth went dry. Correct, I echoed. Like I'm a problem. They want you to apologize tomorrow, he whispered. To them and to my uncle. I stepped back, hard. A cold wall hit my spine. For what, Ethan? For breathing wrong in their museum of a house? He didn't answer. Then, a sudden, sharp knock slammed against the door. Too firm, too deliberate, too familiar. Ethan's face drained of color. Mia? He whispered, barely audible. They weren't supposed to come tonight. Another knock. Harder. My heartbeat kicked into my throat. Something wasn't over. Something was starting. The second knock was louder, not angry, just certain. The kind of nod from someone who already decided they're coming in, with or without permission. Ethan and I locked eyes. He didn't need to say a word. I knew exactly who it was. His uncle. Footsteps shuffled on the porch, slow, heavy, like each one was a reminder that this wasn't a social visit. This was a summons. Ethan whispered, "Stay behind me," but there was no strength in his voice, only dread. I grabbed his wrist. "Ethan, are you sure we should?" He flinched as the third knock hit the door, not louder, just closer, measured, intentional. Like the person on the other side was timing each strike with our heartbeats. Ethan inhaled shakily, forcing his hand toward the handle. I could feel tension radiating off him, his shoulders tight, breath shallow, fingers trembling. He cracked the door 2 inches. A deep voice seeped through the gap. "Ethan, open it." His uncle's tone wasn't aggressive. It was worse. It was controlled, practiced, a voice used to giving instructions, not invitations. Ethan opened the door fully, and his uncle stepped inside without waiting. Tall, immaculately dressed, expression unreadable, like he'd mastered the art of neutral intimidation. His eyes scanned the house, then landed on me. "Good evening, Mia." Smooth, too smooth. I stood straighter. "It's late." "Yes," he said simply. "And unfortunately, this couldn't wait. Your behavior tonight raised concerns." My stomach tightened. Concerns or excuses. His lips curved, not into a smile, but into something colder. "I see we're starting defensively." Ethan moved between us. "Uncle Robert, maybe we should do this tomorrow." "No," his uncle cut in, eyes never leaving mine. "You embarrassed my sister in front of her guests. That requires immediate resolution." "Resolution?" I echoed. "I didn't do anything except exist in your house." He stepped forward, not threatening, assessing, like he was taking notes for a report on how to correct a malfunctioning employee. "Your presence caused tension," he said calmly. "And tension reflects instability. That's not acceptable for this family." My breath caught. "You're talking like this is a company." "It is." His voice dropped. "And you married into it." Everything inside me twisted. Fear, disgust, outrage, battling for space. Mia, he said, gesturing toward the living room, sit. And was kind of kids were the sacrifices. And we knew the people had know me. Would. Mine stopped. Corrective action. A threat dressed in polite phrasing. And I realized tonight wasn't a conversation. It was a warning. For a moment, everything inside me went still, like my mind needed a full pause before deciding whether to feel fear or fury. Ethan's uncle stood there calmly, hands clasped behind him, like a school principal waiting for a child to admit wrongdoing. But I wasn't a child, and this wasn't school. This was my marriage, my life, laid out like some corporate disciplinary meeting. What does that mean? I asked, keeping my voice steady. Corrective action sounds like a threat. His uncle didn't blink. It's a consequence, he said. Not a threat. Our family has expectations. Ethan has responsibilities. You disrupted that. Because I didn't sit quietly while your sister mocked me, I fired back. No, he cocked his head slightly, because you showed resistance. That word, resistance, hit me like a cold slap. Ethan stepped forward. Uncle Robert, please. She didn't do anything wrong. Robert raised one hand, silencing him effortlessly. You're emotional, Ethan. You always have been. Then, looking at me, your influence is making it worse. Influence? The way he said it like I was some virus infecting their golden boy. I crossed my arms. So what exactly do you plan to correct? Robert moved further into the living room, inspecting it like an auditor. The tension tonight was damaging. Reports were made to certain family members. Concerns were voiced. Reports? I repeated. To who, H.O.? He turned back to me, expression calm but eyes sharp. To the elders, the people who maintain order. I laughed once, a short, disbelieving exhale. Ethan's family has elders? Robert didn't find it funny. At the next gathering, you will apologize. Publicly. You will accept guidance moving forward. Accept. Guidance, missteps. Every word felt like a chain tightening. Ethan suddenly grabbed my hand, desperately. Uncle, stop. You can't talk to her like she's... Robert cut him off again. I'm talking to her exactly how I talk to anyone jeopardizing the stability of this family. I stepped forward now, heat flooding my veins. And if I don't? If I refuse? Robert smiled. It was small and terrifying. Then the elders will intervene directly. And trust me, Mia, he lowered his voice. You don't want that. The room felt colder, like the temperature had dropped 10 degrees. I swallowed. You can't control my marriage. His eyes hardened. Your marriage exists because we allow it. Ethan flinched like he'd been struck. I stared at Robert, realizing something horrifying. They didn't see Ethan as my husband. They saw him as property, belonging to them. And me, an outsider who needed to be trained or removed. A faint noise came from the porch, gravel crunching under slow steps. Robert turned his head slightly. Ah, he murmured. They're here. They. My pulse spiked. Ethan whispered, Mia, something's wrong. Something was very, very wrong. The word they hung in the air like a countdown. Ethan's uncle didn't rush, didn't react. He simply adjusted his sleeves, as if preparing for a board meeting instead of whatever nightmare was about to walk through my front door. Outside, the footsteps grew clearer, slow, synchronized, purposeful. Not neighbors, not friends, people who knew exactly why they were here. Ethan's grip tightened around my wrist. Mia, go upstairs, he whispered. Please, no. Fear surged in my chest, yes, but something else rose with it. Anger, resolve. I was done being cornered. The porch light flickered once. Then we heard the sound of weight shifting. More than one person, and a heavy, deliberate knock landed on the door. Not urgent, not polite, authoritative. Robert's expression softened into something polished, rehearsed. Compose yourself, he told Ethan quietly. You don't want to appear unstable in front of them. In front of who, Elle? I demanded. Robert answered without looking at me. The Council of Parents. Ethan's eyes closed like he'd been punched. No, not them, not tonight. I stared between them. The what? But there was no time to process that. because Ethan's mother's voice floated through the door, calm and chilling. "Ethan, open up. We need to finish tonight's conversation." I froze. Her tone wasn't angry. It was collected, like she already knew the outcome. Ethan stepped backward, shaking his head. "Uncle Robert, please," Robert only murmured. "It's better to cooperate." Better for who? Another knock, harder this time. Ethan's father's voice joined in. "We gave you space to prepare. Now open the door." "Prepare for what?" Ethan's breath hitched. He whispered, "They only come as a group when they're making a ruling." Ruling? Like we were on trial. I stepped away from him, shock slowly melting into disbelief. "You're telling me your family holds hearings? About marriages?" "They evaluate threats to the family structure," Robert said calmly. "You created quite the disruption tonight." My jaw dropped. I reacted to insult after insult. "That's not a disruption, that's self-respect." Robert tilted his head. "A woman who cannot endure discomfort is not fit for leadership through marriage." The words stabbed straight into my chest. Another set of footsteps, all three now, shifted outside like they were taking position. Then Ethan's mother's voice again, firmer. "Ethan, open the door." Ethan backed away, trembling. "They're going to force a reconciliation meeting," he whispered, "and they'll expect Mia to sign something, some kind of compliance agreement." My stomach twisted over my dead body. Robert finally turned to face me directly. "Mia, do not make this harder for yourself." In that moment, something inside me snapped, clean, sharp, unbreakable. "No," I said quietly, "you do not own me, and you don't get to rewrite our marriage." Robert's expression hardened. A quiet click sounded at the door. Someone was trying the handle. Ethan's face went white. "Mia," he whispered, voice shaking. "They have a key." The key turned in the lock with a slow, confident click, the kind that said this wasn't a visit, this was an entrance, a rite, a ritual. The door swung open and Ethan's parents stepped inside first, moving with the stiff grace of people who never considered the word no a real barrier. His mother carried a thin leather folder, his father held a pen. Behind them, Robert, silent. Supervising. They closed the door gently, almost tenderly, which somehow felt more threatening than if they'd slammed it. Ethan instinctively moved in front of me. "Mom, Dad, please, this isn't..." His mother held up a hand. "Ethan, let us lead. This is important." I stepped out from behind him, refusing to cower. "What exactly is happening here?" His father answered, tone clipped, businesslike. "A reconciliation session. To restore order. You overstepped tonight. We're here to correct that before it becomes permanent." Permanent, like my dignity was a stain to scrub out. His mother opened the folder, revealing a printed document with 3 signature lines. "I'll read this aloud," she said calmly, as if reciting a grocery list. "Statement of apology and acknowledgement of appropriate conduct." A heat rushed up my chest, but before I could speak, Ethan's mother continued, "You will sign this tonight. You will acknowledge that you mishandled the dinner, that you disrespected our family culture, and that you will adjust your behavior to create harmony. This is standard protocol, harmony." The words felt like handcuffs. Ethan snapped. "No, Mom, this is insane. She's not signing anything. You have no right." His father's voice boomed, cutting him down instantly. "Ethan, you will sit. Now." He obeyed, automatically, like muscle memory. And something inside me broke open. I stepped toward the folder, not to sign, to look them in the eyes. "I'm not apologizing for breathing," I said quietly. "I'm not signing anything." His mother's smile never wavered. "Then we'll escalate. The elders will intervene directly." "Let them," I whispered, "because I'm done." The front door burst open, this time with force. All 4 of them whipped their heads around. Noah stood there, my brother, jaw locked, eyes blazing, chest rising and falling like he'd sprinted the entire way here. Behind him, 2 police officers. Ethan's father sputtered. "What is this?" Noah stepped forward, voice a low growl. "You called a meeting." I called the law. The officers entered the house. "Ma'am, we received a report of harassment and intimidation. Is everything okay?" I exhaled for the first time in what felt like hours. "No," I said. It hasn't been okay for a long time. One officer nodded. We'll take it from here. Ethan's mother's face fell, not angry, but stunned. His father stepped back, like someone had yanked the ground out from under him. Robert's expression broke first, a tiny crack in his mask of neutrality. Noah came to my side. You okay, sis? For the first time tonight, I felt safe. I am now. The officers ushered Ethan's family out, one by one, their protests turning into quiet disbelief. When the door finally shut, the silence returned, but this time, it wasn't heavy. It was freeing. Ethan sank into a chair, tears in his eyes. I'm so sorry, Mia. I should have stopped them years ago. I put a hand on his shoulder. No more letting them control your life. He nodded, finally looking like himself again. Next time they try something, they won't just stand up, they'll be thrown out.